Hello YouTube, welcome back to JandJPickEm. My name is Juan. Last week I went 10-6 with my picks, and my overall record is 71-51.
And I'm Josh. Last week I went 12-4. My overall record is 78-44. And just like I said, I got double-digit wins for the people. If you copied my picks last week, I know you did good. When I guarantee something, it's gonna happen. And hopefully this week I can get double-digit wins again. If you're getting double-digit weeks every week, you're gonna win your pick'em, I'm telling you. Also, I hope everyone had a good Halloween, and we have some really good games coming up. So let's get into week 9 picks. Let's go. So to start off Thursday Night Football, we got a good game. We got the Titans versus the Steelers. How about them Titans, man? If you're a Titans fan, you got to be excited. You finally got a QB of the future. Will Levis is looking real good. He threw 4 touchdowns. And DeAndre Hopkins, he didn't have 1, 2, but 3 touchdowns last week with only 3 receptions. He had over 150 yards. Derrick Henry's looking good. I think the offense for the Titans is finally looking really good, and they're looking like an exciting team. Hopefully they don't go back to Ryan Tannehill, and hopefully Will Levis keeps playing because he's playing really good. As for the Steelers, they came short from the close one last week. I think the only reason they didn't win is because Trubisky ended up playing. He threw 2 interceptions, and you can't do that if you're trying to win a game. It looks like Kenny Pickett will play this next week, but I'm just liking how the Titans are playing. And one more thing for the Steelers, Najee Harris has to get it going. If he doesn't get it going, Steelers aren't going to win. So I got the Titans winning this game, but I do expect it to be a very close game.
Yeah, for this one, I'm going to go with the Titans as well. I feel like, Josh, I remember you saying earlier in the weeks, you said Will Levis, it's time for him to start.
Yep.
And when he started, he went for 4 touchdowns, 238 yards. So I'm going with the Titans for this game. I feel like the Titans defense and offense did really good. Derrick Henry went for over 100 yards. But yeah, I feel like TJ Watt, he's a really good defensive player. Pickett, I think he's going to be playing on an injury, so that's why I'm going to go with the Titans. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really close game. If Pickett does play, it should be a lot closer. But I'm going to go with the Titans, and so is Josh.
Yep. For the next game, we got a very early game, 6:30 a.m. We got an international game. This might be game of the week. We got the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. I think you got to wake up early and watch this game. This is going to be a good matchup. I think this might be the AFC Championship matchup right here. And we got Tua versus Patrick Mahomes. For the Chiefs last week, they didn't look too good. They're playing the Broncos, who were struggling. But man, did they play good against the Chiefs, bro. They threw a lot of touchdowns against their defense. Kelsey, I know Taylor Swift wasn't at the game, so I think that's why he got less than 100 yards. And then Mahomes, no touchdowns, and he threw a couple interceptions. You can't win a game if you're doing that. As for the Dolphins, every week, man, we keep talking about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. If they're going to keep balling out and defenses can't stop them, they're going to keep winning games. Raheem Mostert, he got a touchdown. He didn't run for that many yards, but he didn't have to. The one thing I will say about the Dolphins, they got to limit turnovers if they're going to win this game. This is going to be a very close game. It could very well be high scoring. I got the Dolphins winning a close one. You already know that I'm very biased about them. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a very, very close game. It's going to be a very entertaining one, but I got the Dolphins winning this one.
Yeah, for this one, I'm also going with the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they played great last week, Yeah, they were losing for a while in the first half, but the Patriots, they're always known for having that really good defense. But at the end of the day, the Dolphins, the wide receivers are too good. Like I say, Tyreek Hill is too fast. Jalen Waddle, he's too fast too. They both went for over 100 yards. Tua, MVP. Come on, I've been calling it.
Yes,
Josh,
sir.
you already know that. Before, I think, what was it, like week 1, I called it. Tua, he's going to get that MVP.
Yes, sir.
And the Chiefs, yeah, they did horrible last week. I know they went up against a great Broncos defense. The Broncos, they got a really good defense and stuff. But the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, it looks like his only target is Travis Kelsey, And Taylor Swift, she wasn't at the game. So like I said, if she's not at the game, they're going to take that out. Travis Kelsey, he can't be the one getting the ball every single time. Those other receivers have to find a way to get open. Patrick Mahomes, he's a very good player, but when his receivers aren't open, then it's going to be a hard game to win. I know Patrick Mahomes was also sick last week, so that could have been a reason. But yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to be able to come out with the win just because their offense is way too explosive. And their defense, they're decent. They're able to get some stops, and I feel like they're going to come out with the win.
Yeah, I also want to say Jalen Ramsey did get an interception last week, so that does look good for the Dolphins. We both got the Dolphins winning this game, but it will be a close one against the Chiefs.
For the next game, we have the Vikings versus the Falcons. For this game, we know Kirk Cousins isn't going to play. He's out for the season with the torn Achilles. Justin Jefferson also isn't going to play. I think he's still out with his injury. But for this game, I think I'm going to go with the Falcons. Heineke, he was able to step up. The Vikings, they're going to be playing with their new quarterback that they just traded for, Joshua Dobbs. But I feel like it's too early for Joshua Dobbs, a rookie, to learn the playbook and get in rhythm with the team. So for this game, I'm going to go with the Falcons. I feel like this should be a close game as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Joshua Dobbs is gonna take him time to learn the playbook for the Vikings. And yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be able to move the ball around. Like you said, Jefferson is out, Kirk Cousins is out. So it looks like Hawkinson and Addison are the only two targets who did really well against the Niners, or my bad, who did very well against the Packers last week. And as for the Falcons, so I guess the starter's gonna be named on Wednesday. It's either Desmond Ridder or it's gonna be Taylor Heineke. Honestly, I think Heineke's a better quarterback, even though he's not the starter. I think he should get the start, and if he does, I think the Falcons are going to win this one. I think they do have to feed Bijan Robinson a little bit more, and as long as they keep playing good, I think they're going to win this game. So I got the Falcons being the Vikings this week, and so does Juan. For this next game, we got the Bears versus the Saints. Like I said last week, I said the Chargers were going to win by like at least 20 points against the Bears, and that's what they did. The Bears aren't great this season. Tyler Bagnett, I hope I pronounced his name right. He's not a good quarterback, but I will say this, something looking forward for the Bears, they signed Montez Sweat. He's a good linebacker. Hopefully he can make the defense step up. I think the Bears just got to get better on offense. They had 2 interceptions, couldn't get anything rolling. As for the Saints, Rashid Shaheed, oh my goodness, 158 receiving yards. Derek Carr's looking really great. Alvin Kamara's doing amazing. And come on, look at that Joker, Taysom Hill, man. He had 2 touchdowns rushing. He threw for 1 pass. He did pretty good. I got the Saints winning this one. I think it's going to be an easy game. I think this is our lock of the week. We got the Saints winning this one. Bears aren't going to do anything. And I think it should be an easy game.
Yeah, like you said, this is going to be our lock for the week. Derek Carr, I expect him to ball out against the Bears. The Bears, they have Tyler Bagnett. And, he's a good quarterback, but, he's a backup for a reason. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints for this one. Rashid, like you said, he balled out last week. But, yeah, I feel like the Saints, they have a really good offense and defense. And, they're able to keep that rhythm and get wins every week.
Yeah, so for this week, we both got the Saints as our lock of the week, beating the Bears.
Yeah. For the next game, we have the Rams versus my team, the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, for this game, I'm pretty excited. I feel like this is going to be the first game where we actually get a win. Just because Matthew Stafford is most likely not playing on Sunday. And, the Packers, they didn't do too good last week. Actually, they didn't do good at all. They had a chance to win the game a couple times. But the play calling is horrible. It's like, you have a good running back and you just don't give him the ball. Aaron Jones, they need to feed him. Aaron Jones only got 7 carries. How are you going to do that to a really good running back? But yeah, I think the Packers should be able to get the win. It's going to be a snow game. It's going to be at Lambeau Field. Rams are most likely playing without Matthew Stafford. So yeah, I'm going with the Packers for this game.
Juan, I think I'm going to say for the one time, I think I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers too.
Let's go.
I'll tell you this, if Brian Rippon starts, I don't think the Rams aren't going to do great this week. And last week, they looked horrible against the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdowns against them. Their secondary has to play better if they want to win this game. And like you said, the Packers offense didn't look great. But when they're playing a snow game and it's a home game, I feel like they're really trying to get a win this time. I think the Packers should win this one. I do see it being a close game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win also. But if a backup quarterback's playing, I don't think they're going to do great against the Packers. So for the one time, we both got the Packers winning this week. And
go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go, baby.
Let's go. Packers stub confirmed.
Yes, sir.
Not a lock, but we're pretty sure the Packers are going to win.
Yes, sir.
For the next game, we have the Commanders versus the Patriots. For this game, I'm going with the Commanders. I feel like the Commanders did really good last week against a really good Eagles defense. Sam Howell, he was able to ball out, almost put up 400 yards. He went for 4 touchdowns. And his receivers, they balled out. Dotson, Crowder, McLaurin, they all did their part. And they were able to step up. Last week, they were almost able to make that comeback against a really good Eagles defense. The Eagles, we're all expecting them to go to the Super Bowl. And when you put up 31 points against a really good team like that, you make a statement. The Patriots, they have a really good defense, but I just cannot trust Mac Jones. Yeah, I know they played a great first half against the Dolphins, but I feel like the Commanders, they might win by like 2 touchdowns, and I just can't trust Mac Jones, so I'm going with the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that the Commanders played really great last week. They had the lead for a good amount of time. And like you said, Sam Howell, he threw for 4 touchdowns, and he was giving the ball to everyone. Jamison Crowder, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, everyone was getting the ball. So I like how they're playing offensively, but defensively, you can't let A.J. Brown get 125 yards on you, and you can't let all these receptions just happen against your team, right? And I think the Patriots, like you said, their first half, they played pretty well. Their defense stepped up. They had a fumble. They had a touchdown. I think they're playing really great, but I think the second half, the Dolphins are just way better than them, right? But for this game, even though it seems like an upset, but they're the favorites, I got the Patriots winning. I think the Patriots play pretty well at home. This season, they haven't played well, though. But against the Commanders, I think the Commanders do struggle when they play against a good defense, and the Patriots have a great defense this year. But it's all up to Mac Jones and their offense. Their offense is very stagnant. They don't get a lot of yards. But I just have a feeling that this week they're finally going to get it going and they're going to play really well against the Commanders. But the Commanders could easily win this one too. This is a very toss-up game. But I got the Patriots winning. Juan has the Commanders winning. It's going to be a very close game, but these are our picks for this week.
For the next game, we have the Seahawks versus the Ravens. For this game, I'm going with the upset. I feel like, the Seahawks, they're doing really good. They're first place in their division, and I feel like they're going to be able to get the win against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So, yeah, for this one, I'm going with the Seahawks. The Ravens, they didn't do so good against the Cardinals defense, which I don't really respect, and I don't feel like they're that good. But Lamar Jackson, I think he only went up for like 157 yards, 1 touchdown, and honestly, he didn't have a good game at all. The Seahawks, on the other hand, I feel like they have a really good run game, and I feel like that should be able to help them out to get a win. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, they're able to do just enough to get a win. And yeah, honestly, I just feel like this is going to be an upset. The Ravens, they didn't play too good last week. And the Seahawks, they've been playing really good, getting a couple wins. And something just tells me that they're going to get the upset. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks for this game.
All right, Juan, I'm out to disagree with you on this one. I think this game's going to come down to a turnover battle. So last week, the Ravens won because they got 2 interceptions against Joshua Dobbs, and their defense played pretty well towards the end of the game. And Gus Edwards is finally getting it going. He's getting most of the carries. Justice Hill isn't getting a lot of carries. Gus Edwards had 3 touchdowns last week. And like you said, Lamar Jackson did have 157 yards, but it's because he didn't have to pass that game. They were doing really good in the run game. As for the Seahawks, I feel like they should have lost that game last week. The Browns did throw an interception that was costly towards the end, but the Seahawks are a great team, and I'm not knocking them down. They are in first place in their division right now, and Geno Smith, he did throw 2 interceptions last week. So I think if he does the same thing against the Ravens this week, I got the Ravens winning. And the Ravens are looking really good this year. I feel like they're in contention to be up there in the playoffs. They might even have a chance to go to the AFC Championship or even the Super Bowl. So I think this could be a close game, but I got the Ravens winning because they're the better and more complete team in my opinion. For the next game, we got the Buccaneers versus the Texans. I think this should be a very fun and close game. The Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football, they actually didn't play too bad. I think they're just getting unlucky sometimes. The Bills were playing better offensively, and the Buccaneers couldn't stop them in the pass game or even the run game. But I will say this, Baker Mayfield is looking decent. I feel like he can make some good plays to Mike Evans. I think their rush game does have to get a little bit better, but I think it's all up to their defense, especially their secondary. The reason I'm saying that is because the Texans lost last week because the Panthers were playing really, really good defense against them. And I did say the Panthers were going to win their first game last week. I called it just because it's 2 rookies playing against each other. They want to have that edge over each other and want to win the game against each other. So CJ Stroud, I think he's going to play a lot better against Baker Mayfield since he doesn't have any type of rivalry with him. And I think their offense is going to get it going. But the one way they have to do it is Dameon Pierce has to perform way better. Devin Singletary's getting slightly more touches than him. But I do got the Texans winning this game. I think it's going to be a close one. But if the Bucs secondary doesn't play as great as they did last week, I think the Texans will win this one.
Yeah, for this one, honestly, I feel like the Buccaneers should come off with an easy win. In the beginning, I did say I was not a big fan of Baker Mayfield, but he's proved it to us. He's been able to be a really good quarterback. Every game, he's able to get a couple touchdowns and get huge yards. So yeah, I expect him and his receivers to put up a good game. The Texans, they have a good defense, but I feel like Baker Mayfield and his receivers, they have a really good connection, and that's the only reason why I think they should come out with the win. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, and Josh is going to go with the Texans.
For the next game, we got the Cardinals playing the Browns. For some reason, I think this is going to be a close game. The Browns almost came up with a W against the Seahawks last week. They just had one dumb play towards the end. I will say this, PJ Walker is playing decent, but he does have a few turnovers that he has to decrease. I'm pretty sure he's going to start this game again. Maybe Deshaun Watson comes back, but I'm not too sure. As for the Cardinals, they just traded Joshua Dobbs, so that means Kyler Murray is most likely going to start. You guys don't know how I feel about Kyler Murray, but Juan does. I love Kyler Murray. I think he's a good quarterback, but I will say this. Offensively, they don't have a lot going on. James Conner's still going to be out. Wide receiver core is not that great. but the Browns' rushing game is a lot better. So I think Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford are going to have a lot of work this week. And I think this game's going to be a low-scoring rushing game. I think the Browns are just going to rush a lot and not throw a lot. So I do see them winning, but for some reason, it could be a close game. But I got the Browns winning this one against the Cardinals.
Yeah, for this one, I have the Browns coming out with the win. But something just tells me, sometimes there's just those random games where, all of a sudden the Cardinals can be up 17 at the half and they just blow out a team, and it's just like the most random games. But yeah, for this one, I'm going with the Browns. I feel like Deshaun Watson missing out on the game doesn't really affect the game too much. They lost because of a helmet, and if it wasn't for that, they should have got the win last week. But yeah, I'm going with the Browns. Amari Cooper, he did good last week. The running game, it's decent. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns, and so is Josh.
Yes, sir.
For the next game, we have the Colts versus the Panthers. For this game, I'm going with the Colts. Gardner Minshew, like I said, he's hungry for that win. He didn't get it last week, but, they played against a really good team last week, the Saints. But Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, they're a great duo. Zach Moss, I feel like he's a running back that does not need to split carries, and he can take over that running back position. For the Panthers, they have a really good receiving team, but their running game is trash. Chuba Hubbard, 15 carries for 28 yards? Come on. That's 1.9 yards a carry. That's trash. You're not going to win a game like that. But yeah, like I said, Gardner Minshew, he's hungry for a win. He's going to go off. I expect him to get at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss, one of them should get another touchdown. And yeah, I really like the Colts offense. Pittman, he's a baller. Downs, he balled out last week. And yeah, I expect the Colts to be able to get the win.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close one. The one thing I will say about the Panthers last week, I said they're going to get their first win. And the way they did it, they fed Adam Thielen and their defense balled out. I think their defense is playing a lot better, especially their secondary. And they got a couple sacks, which is pretty impressive. As for the Colts, Gardner Minshew, I think he's an okay quarterback. And I think he's the reason why I think they're going to win this game. He's been feeding Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. Josh Downs is looking really good. And their running game, oh my gosh. Who remembers Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb? Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss is kind of looking like that duo, which is pretty impressive. So for those reasons, I do got the Colts winning, but this could be easily a very close game. I think Bryce Young is playing a lot better, and Adam Thielen, he's truly, like at least in fantasy numbers, a top 10 receiver in the league right now. And I think this would be a very close one, but I do got the Colts winning, and Juan has the Colts winning also. For the next game, I didn't want to scream it out because I'm upset, but we got my Raiders versus the Giants. I will say this though, Christmas came early. Josh McDaniels, go to sleep, bruh. You're going to be in the couch watching us win this week. We're playing the Giants, man, and I think this is going to be a good game. The Raiders, oh my gosh, we sucked this Monday night. Jimmy G, you got to go. I want Aiden O'Connell to start. He's a rookie. He almost won us that game against the Chargers 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. And Devontae Adams, I'm surprised this guy hasn't left us already. He had only 11 yards, I think. Jimmy G didn't feed him at all, and the one time he did, he overthrew him. I do believe this game he won't make that same mistake, and I think we will play better. We got a new interim head coach. I think hopefully that he's in there. We're going to start playing better again. As for Giants, I was just talking to Juan right now. I never seen this stat line in my life. Tyrod Taylor only had 8 passing yards, and the DeVito guy had -1 passing yards. Saquon Barkley had 36 rushing yards. You're not going to win a game like that. What the heck? If that same thing happens again against the Raiders, Raiders are easily going to win. I think it's going to be an easy, close, or not an easy game. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be an ugly game, I'm going to be honest. But I got the Raiders winning. And yes, I'm being biased, but I think the Raiders are going to win this game.
Okay, so for this game, I'm sorry, Raider fans, but I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
You know what that means? Josh, what happens every time I choose the Raiders?
They lose.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, Raider fans. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders getting the win this game. Like I said, every week, Max Crosby.
Oh, yeah.
I have so much respect for him. He's a great defensive player. He's one of the best defensive ends. And, he has my respect. I expect him to be all over Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, he's coming back. Like I said, Daniel Jones isn't a good quarterback. Tyrod Taylor should be starting, but Tyrod Taylor's out this game. But yeah, I expect Josh Jacobs to have a decent game. Devontae Adams, he has to step up. Last week, I'm sorry, he had some passes straight to his hands and he dropped them.
Yeah,
Devontae Adams, he's a really good wide receiver and he's going to bounce back. I've seen him do it on the Packers and I'm going to see it this week against the Giants. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders. The Giants, Saquon Barkley, how many carries did he get? 36.
36.
Those are the carries running backs used to get back then. And yeah, they're most likely going to tire him out and not be able to get the win.
I will say this. Start Saquon Barkley in fantasy, obviously, especially
Yeah.
against the Raiders.
That's a must start right there. He's going to get 30 plus.
Easy.
For sure over 20 carries.
Yep.
But yeah, for this game, I'm going to go with the Raiders. Josh is going to go with the Raiders.
Raiders.
And yeah, hopefully the Raiders come out with the win.
For the next game, we got a really good afternoon game. We got the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Both of these teams played pretty good last week. The Cowboys did really amazing last week. Dak Prescott threw for 4 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb is finally looking like the true number one receivers that the Cowboys need. Their defense stepped up. I think the only thing the Cowboys need to do better is a running game. They let go Ezekiel Elliott for a reason. They believe Tony Pollard is a running back, and he's not doing that great this season. So if he steps up, I can see them winning. But unfortunately, I got the Eagles winning. The reasoning, they're so versatile. Last week, they showed that they could win a game by throwing the ball. Usually, they win the game by running the ball. But last week, Jalen Hurts threw 4 touchdowns. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown did their thing. So I think this week, they're going to do the same thing, except they're going to run the ball also. They're looking like a very, very great team. And you heard me and Juan say this so many times. We see them going to the Super Bowl against the Dolphins. And I think this is going to be a really, really good game. It's a divisional matchup. So the Cowboys could easily win this game also. But I got the Eagles being the Cowboys.
Yeah, for this game, like you said, it's a divisional matchup. So this game can go whichever way. So for this game, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Just because, the Eagles, we're expecting them to go to the Super Bowl. And this is an important win for them to get in order to lock up that division. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. I know he's going to be playing under a lot of pressure, but I feel like he should be able to use Swift, A.J. Brown, Smith, and yeah, use his receivers, his running backs to get a win. For the Cowboys, Tony Pollard, he's a dual threat. He's able to do anything. Last week, he came second in receiving behind CeeDee Lamb that balled out. Like you said, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1. He finally proved it. For this game, I feel like I kind of wanted to go with the Cowboys, but, I'm going to go with the Eagles just because it's really hard to bet against them. That tush push is unstoppable, and you never want to bet against that.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles, and so is Josh.
Yes, sir.
So for Sunday Night Football, we have the Bills versus the Bengals. I know the Bengals are coming off a really big win against the Niners, but I'm going to go with the Bills. I feel like the Bills are just too good. Their offense is good. Their defense is good. For the Bengals, I feel like not that they got lucky, but they did play against Brock Purdy that's not performing too good. And I think they played without Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel, which are 2 key players to that team. But yeah, the Bills, Josh Allen, he's a beast. He went for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. That run game, James Cook, I feel like he needs to step it up a little. Davis, if you have him in fantasy football, he's inconsistent, but I feel like these are the games where he's able to step up. Whenever they play against really good teams, Davis, he becomes a very key player for Josh Allen. Josh Allen is always able to use him as a safety. And whenever he doesn't see someone open, he'll do a check down to Davis, and Davis will go up for a touchdown or really good yardage. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills for this game.
Yeah, this is going to be such a great Sunday Night Football game. I will say this, the Bengals, that was probably one of the best overall team performances I've seen this whole season. Their defense stepped up, they had a fumble, 2 interceptions, and they just played really great. Joe Burrow's fine looking like that quarterback that he used to be. He's feeding everyone. Tyler Boyd got a touchdown. Jamar Chase got a touchdown. T. Higgins got over 60 yards and he got 5 receptions. The Bengals are looking really good. But I will say the Bills are looking like a really great team too. And I think I just trust Josh Allen more. I know he does turn over the ball more than Joe Burrow, but I feel like he's just a more complete quarterback. And like you said, he's feeding everyone. Gabe Davis, I think this was the first time Stephon Diggs didn't have the most yards in his team. So he fed Shakir and he fed Davis also. So I think their offense is looking really good. But I will say this, for the Bills to win this game, it matters on the turnovers. They got to get an interception or a fumble, and they got to pressure Joe Burrow. Because last week against the Niners, he got pressured, but he made those throws somehow. So this is going to be a really close game. And honestly, we should both be going with the Bengals. But I got the Bills winning this one. I think they're going to come up with the upset. And I think this is going to be a really, really close game. And it's going to be a very high-scoring game. So we both got the Bills winning this one in a really good Sunday Night Football game. So for the next game, we got the Chargers versus the Jets. I think the Chargers looked like a really good team against the Bears last week. Justin Herbert looked good. Austin Eckler looked good. The one thing I will say about Austin Eckler, he has to do way better in the run game. He had 15 touches and 29 rushing yards. You can't be doing that if you want to win a game. But he did do amazing in the receiving game. 94 receiving yards. He had 1 touchdown. I really liked how he played last week. As for the Jets, They came out with the W, but I feel like it was such an ugly game. Zach Wilson got sacked 4 times. Their offensive line has to play a lot better. He did throw 1 touchdown to Brees Hall, but just like Austin Eckler, Brees Hall only had 17 rushing yards, but he did amazing in the receiving game. I think both of these running backs have to do way better in the rushing game. And Zach Wilson is playing a lot more safe. He didn't throw an interception. This is going to be a pretty close game in my opinion, but I got the Chargers winning this game. I trust Justin Herbert more. I think their defense is going to play great. Zach Wilson, like I said, he needs a better offensive line. So I think the Chargers are going to win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a very, very close game.
Yeah, for this one, I'm going to go with the Chargers as long as they're not playing from behind. Because, Josh, I've said it every week, Justin Herbert is not clutch. But they got Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler, he balled out in the receiving team last week. He had the most yards out of all the receivers. And have you seen that game? Every time he catch that ball and started running, he was running with power, and you can tell it's going to be hard to stop him. But for the Jets, Zach Wilson, he's been playing decent. And Garrett Wilson, honestly, he's been playing really good. If the Jets would have still had Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, they might have had a really good record. Brees Hall, he's a baller too. On the receiver side, he was able to put up 76 yards and get a touchdown. I feel like this is going to be a really close game. The Chargers, they should be able to come out with the win just because I feel like they have a more complete team. But don't be surprised if the Jets come out and put up a close game or maybe even get the win. But yeah, for this game, I'm going to go with the Chargers and Josh is going to go with the Chargers. So these are going to be our Week 9 picks. Thank you for tuning in to another great week. Last week, Josh said we were going to get double-digit wins. I got 10 wins. He got 12 wins. We're on fire. Listen to these picks, and you should be able to do great in your picks this week.
100%. Keep listening. We're going to keep trying to get double-digit wins for you guys. One more thing. I know we said we're going to go to the Niners-Bengals game. We couldn't go, but we are going to promise you guys that the next game that they have, we're going to go to, and we're going to create this content for you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Josh.
This is Juan.
And this was JandJPickEm.